It has never been more clear than now that Donald Trump is in cognitive decline. This is a person who is taking steps towards authoritarianism that are in lockstep with his crumbling brain. As Donald Trump becomes more deranged, he becomes more focused on being a dictator. And that, of course, is playing out in his assault on peaceful protesters in Los Angeles, but also was obvious in an insane speech he gave at Fort Bragg today, a speech in which the crowd went silent when Donald Trump was losing it over LA. And not just that, you could see military service members laughing at Trump during his insane meltdown behind him. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way in supporting the work we are doing here. Now, before we get into that moment where the crowd just fell silent, let's start with one of the stupider moments of the speech from Trump when he was talking about World War I.
D.C., you know, a lot of people said, we don't want to do that. I say, yeah, we do. We want to show off a little bit. You know, recently, other countries celebrated the victory of World War I. France was celebrating, really. They were all celebrating. The only one that doesn't celebrate is the USA, and we're the ones that won the war. Without us, you'd all be speaking German right now. Maybe a little Japanese thrown in. But we won the war. And we don't celebrate, but we're going to celebrate on Saturday, and we're going to celebrate from now on. We're going to celebrate our greatness and our achievements.
Now, I know that Donald Trump is not a very smart man, but is he so dumb he doesn't know we didn't fight the Japanese in World War I? Is he unaware of what World War I was? It's just levels of stupidity that are hard to comprehend, that only a few short months ago, and they feel like years, we had an actual leader who was respected on the world stage, and now we have a guy who probably couldn't name 20% of the countries on a globe. This is what we have now in our president. It is anger and incompetence, and the anger came out. Just take a listen in this meltdown right here.
Them in the cars that are going by, these are animals, but they proudly carry the flags of other countries. But they don't carry the American flag. They only burn it. Did you see a lot of the flags being burned? They weren't being burned by people from our country or from people that love our country. People that burn the American flag should go to jail for 1 year. That's what they should be doing. 1 year. And we'll see if we can get that done. We're going to try and get that done. We're working with some of your senators. I know Senator Josh Hawley is very much involved, and I know the two senators from here. I think you guys, are you guys in favor of it? Boy, would this be a bad time for them to say no. I got you. I got those two votes. The agitation.
All right, Donald, if you think that people should go to prison for exercising their First Amendment right and safely burning an American flag, exercising their First Amendment right, that's speech. That is free speech. Then one, you don't actually support free speech as you claim to. And two, what about Confederate flags? How do you feel about those? What if someone used the Confederate flag to maybe, I don't know, bust down the windows of the Capitol, come in, smear poop on the walls? How would you feel about that? Because those things seem pretty equivalent. Burning an American flag, waving a Confederate one. Well, actually, Donald Trump cleared up what his thoughts would be on that with a new announcement in his speech today.
For a little breaking news, we are also going to be restoring the names to Fort Pickett, Fort Hood, Fort Gordon, Fort Rucker, Fort Polk, Fort A.P. Hill, and Fort Robert E. Lee. We won a lot of battles out of those forts. It's no time to change.
So Donald Trump thinks it's un-American to burn a flag, exercising your free speech, but there's nothing more American than renaming bases after Confederate generals. It's just disgusting. It's just gross, but it's what we should expect from Trump. What else would we possibly expect from Trump? He does not care about our history. He does not care about our standing in the world. He just cares about what riles up his base and makes him happy as he gets to yell and scream. But sometimes his yelling and screaming doesn't really hit with the base, and certainly didn't hit with this crowd, because as he was describing the weird attacks in just like this fantasy land that he's come up with in LA, he was being laughed at. Take a look at the bottom left of the screen as the crowd just went completely silent.
They're breaking it up because they took the bricks away from them. They came in with bricks, red bricks, that they could throw at our military and at the police in LA, who are very good, but they weren't aggressive like our soldiers. Our soldiers really were aggressive, but they all worked together. But they came in with bricks, they were taken away, and they had hammers. Oh, wow, how did that happen? And they're pounding the sidewalk. I said, what the hell is he doing? And he's breaking.
Like the brick, what is he doing with the bricks? And he's talking about how red they are. I'm surprised he didn't bring up soup. He's talking about ice. He always does the soup thing where it's like, they're bringing the soup. They attack with the soup. And he didn't do that. But did you see in the corner of the screen, like people are laughing, they're covering their face. This is embarrassing. It's not even funny. He's in clear cognitive decline. There are photos going really viral right now pointing out the pants in Donald Trump's suit and if he's wearing a catheter or not. This man is about to turn 78. He is the oldest person to ever be president. Now, I don't think your age disqualifies you from anything, but your mental state can. If you're Donald Trump and you're losing it, maybe you shouldn't be in charge of things. Not that a competent Donald Trump ever existed at any period of time, but Jesus, this is insanity. We are being laughed at. It is embarrassing. And it continued as Donald Trump decided, how about we attack Joe Biden and trans people in this speech? It just got worse. Take a look.
And before going further, I want to say a few words about the situation in Los Angeles, California. Have you heard of the place? Where I've deployed thousands of National Guard troops and hundreds of Marines to protect federal law enforcement from the attacks of a vicious and violent mob. And some of the radical left, they say, oh, that's not nice. Well, if we didn't do it, there wouldn't be a Los Angeles. It'd be burning today, just like their houses were burning a number of months ago. Generations of Army heroes did not shed their blood on distant shores only to watch our country be destroyed by invasion and third world lawlessness here at home, like is happening in California. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not let that happen. It's never going to happen. What you're witnessing in California is a full-blown assault on peace, on public order, and on national sovereignty carried out by rioters bearing foreign flags with the aim of continuing a foreign invasion of our country. We're not going to let that happen. Remember, millions of people were allowed to come into our country totally unchecked and unvetted by stupid people or radical left people or sick people. But regardless, open border policy, the dumbest policy yet, I would say even dumber than men playing in women's sports, transgender for everyone, even dumber than that. No soldier ever volunteered for the Army to be lectured about transgender diversity or inclusion. You don't want to hear that. Transgender for everybody. We don't do that. America's patriots joined the Army to kick down doors, storm beaches, kill terrorists, and win America's wars. That's what we want. And that's what you want. So, because you work together as a team, and we're including in that and across the board. Now, you don't have to take this if you don't want. You could be great patriots. Say, I don't want to raise. I will not accept it. Let it go back into our country. Let's give it to Gavin Newsom so he can waste it in Los Angeles. No, we don't want to do that, but we're giving you across the board raise for every single service member in the U.S. Armed Forces. We're giving you across the board, and you deserve it.
How is this our country? How is this what it's all come to? Donald Trump is waging war on peaceful protesters in Los Angeles while he embarrasses us on the world stage with his insane ramblings. He is attacking the most vulnerable groups as him and his buddies get richer and more powerful, trying to become a dictator as he's in cognitive decline. This is it? Really? This is how we need to be framing this. He is a crazy madman creating chaos in your life. It is chaos from Donald Trump and only because of Donald Trump. And Bernie Sanders was calling that out when he was addressing what's happening in Los Angeles in this clip right here.
I want to take a moment to address what's going on in Los Angeles right now. Let's be clear. Trump's deployment of the National Guard and Marines in California is not about the protests. It is not about ICE, and it's really not about immigration. It's about using extremely dubious legal authority to expand his never-ending grasp for more power and his effort to move this country toward authoritarianism. This is a president, as you all know, who has usurped the constitutional responsibilities of Congress. He has threatened to impeach judges who rule against his policies. He has and is suing media for coverage that criticizes him. He has extorted money from law firms that have represented his opponents, and he is withholding funds from universities for teaching courses he doesn't like. In terms of what's happening in Los Angeles, let us understand that in our federalist form of government, local, state, federal, it is the governor of a state who deploys the National Guard, not the President of the United States. Trump's argument for his deployment of the troops is absurd and laughable. Does anyone really believe that we are in the midst of a foreign invasion or a rebellion against the United States? That, believe it or not, is his legal argument. Let's take stock of what Trump has done here. He has conducted massive illegal raids. He has provoked a counter response, and then he has called in the troops. That is how an authoritarian rules. In this unprecedented moment in modern American history, it is imperative that all of us, no matter what our political views may be, stand together against the president who has little respect for the rule of law or our Constitution. The future of American democracy is at stake.
I have read so many of y'all's comments asking where are our elected Democrats right now speaking out. And of course, Gavin Newsom has done such an incredible job, not just fighting back against Trump, breaking his narrative, calling out his lies, filing lawsuits to stop his assault, but also he's addressing the broader MAGA narrative about California. And I think that's so important that we reframe all of this fight right now. This is clearly a distraction, but if Donald Trump wants to talk about this, let's talk about his assault on freedom. You are less free because Donald Trump is president. Do not let Republicans steal the idea of freedom from us. We are the party that fights for actual freedom. We have to make that case. We're going to be on this show, and if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.